Hello, everybody, and welcome to the premiere episode of War of the Rings StaffCast. I am your host, Manliest Nerd, and I am joined by my lovely co-host and owner of the server, Slayer.
Howdy. How's everyone doing?
And today, we're gonna talk a little bit about how our great server came to be.
So that is quite the story.
We'll probably have to do a shortened version of it because it's like an epic tale. But
yeah, it is pretty wild. We could at least start off with the oldest iteration of the server, which is TA Craft or Ta Craft, as some people mispronounced it way back in the day. This server started. Oh man, that's awesome. So, yeah, that server started early 2012, and that was back in beta 1.8.9, and we were just a simple bucket server for anyone that.
At the time, like the Lord of the Ring mod didn't even exist, right?
No. Yeah, it was way before that, and oh man, it's real old. So this is before we were even thinking about doing Lord of the Rings. This was before anyone had any Lord of the Rings builds. This is before Minecraft Middle Earth was a thing. Yeah, and it started off just absolute chaos. So like it was just between myself and friends.
Yeah,
And
wasn't Mordor just made of coal blocks?
We're talking even before that. That was Primacraft days. So yeah, for the people that don't know, we went TA Craft, which stands for Team Awesome Craft, which is a inside joke between me and my friends that started this at the time. And then we went to Primacraft because Prima was like first in Latin, which I was just like, well, I mean, sounds cool.
And it wasn't taken, so one could say the name was Prime Real Estate.
Oh my god. Yes, I guess. Oh man, and your puns. Okay, and then we became Prima, the War of the Ring, and we just jumped ship and just became War of the Ring MC. So back in the days of TA Craft, it was really ran just between me and my friends. The only ranks we had were MF CEO, which I'm sure some of you can deduce what that stood for. We had like president, and the donation system was absolutely insane. There was a lot of kids from school, and it got to the point where like a lot of kids' younger brothers were starting to donate, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna put me in a weird position. I have to start banning some of my friends' younger brothers for their terrible behavior, because for $60 you could just buy OP. So
yeah, I could see how that would go bad fast.
yeah, there was nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I didn't know that you could just ban people like that. Yeah, the server spawn started off as a farm that I was working on, and then it really started because of this. We used to have to use Hamachi servers, and used to have to use free Hamachi servers, which had a limit of 5 people you could have per connection, like VPN connection. And so one of those had to be the server. And so after about 25 people, there were 7 groups of these servers, and it just became a pain in the ass to keep like managing, because more people wanted to join, and then some people would leave, and then we had to free up slots. And so we just decided that we were going to open up the ports on your computer, which back in the day is how you went ahead and got other people to join Minecraft. And so TA Craft really started when one day a guy named Homebrewer54 joined. I was like, hey man, how's it going? Who are you? Because most of the time I was used to the usernames that joined, right?
Yeah.
And I had no idea who this was. No idea who this was. And I was like, yeah, who are you? He's like, oh yeah, no, I found you guys on a website. And I was like, what? I was 17 at the time, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? I was like, okay, well, welcome to the server. Take your shoes off and follow me. So he's asking us all these questions, like, oh yeah, do you have essentials? Do you have a market? Do you have this, that, and the other? And this was back when Minecraft did not have a lot of things. This was when the only thing there was to do minigame wise was Spleef. And so
the Dark
yeah,
Ages.
yes, he was asking us all these questions. I'm like, dude, I have no idea. Please stop asking these questions. And so it sent me down this rabbit hole of like, okay, so now we're open to the world, and apparently we're already on a website that's being advertised. So I was like, okay, well, I need to go get these plugins. And then he's like, yeah, you need to make it where you can protect your spawn. And he's like, is this your spawn? I was like, this is my farm. Please don't hurt my farm. And then so we learned about World Guard. It's like World Guard version 0.0.1. And yeah, so from there we built the market. We built more buildings. We got the actual spawn situated. We went ahead and got factions, which changed everything. Because when you decide to add divisions on a server, people will start just destroying each other.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
combined with the fact that you could buy OP, it did not
Oh, God.
go well. Yeah, because there was literal gods that you would try to appease on the server. Because if you didn't, they would come to your faction and just destroy everything. So we quickly had to go ahead and get through that. And for anyone that's wondering, you can still find us on Planet Minecraft or YouTube if you type in TACRAFT. I'm actually looking at like our old build. So then the spawn became Minas Tirith. It was the Minas Tirith made by Fishy. That's FISHYYYY, and it is the oldest version of Minas Tirith there is, and at the time it was the greatest one for sure. It was made out of bedrock, which we converted into iron blocks, which then everyone was like, "Oh, you have an entire city made out of iron blocks. We are going to try to take everything from that." And so that's when World Guard was fully implemented, because we learned that rather quick.
Yeah,
And
that
then
makes sense.
yeah, and then that spawn just became a place that you could do pixel art, a place that you could just build stuff. We had roller coasters around there. It was banana sandwich, and people were still donating. So I was just trying to maintain people coming there and doing stuff. And then we added Diamond Games, which Diamond Games, for those that don't remember, is before survival games came out. So for anyone that plays Fortnite, you can trace that back through PUBG, through H1Z1, through survival games, through back to Diamond Games.
God, this is
And
making me feel young. I don't know what any of these are.
yeah, dude, it was crazy. We had the Stargate plugin, and so you would take the Stargate plugin. This is before there was a Diamond Games plugin, so you'd literally have to go get 6 people at least, because otherwise you wouldn't find each other. You would go to these worlds that we created. This was obviously inspired by the Hunger Games. This is like the day it came out, we added this in. You would take a Stargate to a different world, and then it was just on the honor system. It's like there was no plugin to manage. Hey, you're starting here. Hey, you can't build. It was free for all, and it was actually a lot of fun. And so then we added more plugins like Dynmap, and then we started like TA Craft hit a limit, and then we decided what we wanted to be. We created our own map with World Painter, and for those that don't know, World Painter is like World Edit but on a massive scale. It's literally like Microsoft Paint, but you can go ahead and decide biomes, decide
Yeah,
blocks.
do we still have that? Because that sounds familiar.
We've used it a few times just to go ahead and make like worlds or sections of worlds. But I
Yeah.
worked with the developer of it to go ahead and create the largest World Painter map at the time. We literally broke it because before Primacraft was made, I rented a Microsoft Azure server, and because there was a loophole in how they were letting these out, I rented a server with 256 gigabytes of RAM, which at the time was 256 times larger than our server.
Yeah, that sounds insane.
It was amazing. And so we made our own version of Middle Earth, and it was abysmal. It was the worst looking Middle Earth. It literally was just white mountains, misty mountains, Mordor, and that's it. And then I found these builds online, all these Lord of the Rings builds, and downloaded those and used World Edit to put them in there. And so we had in end of 2012, we had Middle Earth. This is before Minecraft Middle Earth. Artcraft was still 3 or 4 years from being a thing. And yeah, you could walk from Rivendell through Moria to Lothlorien, go down the Anduin, go to Osgiliath, go across Osgiliath over to Minas Morgul. That was Epic Quest's Minas Morgul. And then, actually, no, we didn't have Osgiliath because it was before Epic Quest made Osgiliath. So, anyways, you could go to one of the oldest bear doors, which I can't even find anymore, and you could go ahead and make this entire journey. It was the first server you could do that on. If anyone can find a fully fleshed out Lord of the Rings server before 2012, well, I guess this is the end of 2012, it'd be 2013. So, yeah, everything was going great. We had factions figured out, we had a world edit figured out. We had ranks figured out, so we had the 10 original ranks of serf, bondsman, commoner, all that kind of stuff, and everything was manual. So when someone wanted to be Elrond, you had to play on the server for long enough. You became trusted, and then you became Elrond, and you would rule over Rivendell. And using the factions plugin, people would literally fight over these places. And then this player comes online, and he goes, "Oh yeah, no, this is when we had one of the first trailers. You can look that up. It's the Primacraft server trailer. It's under the Slaying Slayer account on YouTube. It's got like 9 views. But we put that out, and about a week later, a person joins, and they're like, "Hey, do you know that all of these builds are from Minecraft Middle Earth?" And I was gone at the time. Forgot where I was, but an admin was online, and he was like, "I don't think so. I mean, how would we get them from another server?" Which was a great question at the time, because I did not know how we got them from another server besides the fact that we downloaded them off Planet Minecraft. So 40 people from the Minecraft Middle Earth server joined, and they were not happy. Actually, this is like now 2014, maybe? I'm not quite sure.
Wait, so they just joined because they were mad that they thought you were stealing builds?
Oh, it was their builds, 100%. I went on the Minecraft Middle Earth server only once before, and I got really bored really quickly. Just because I really have to just walk this and take tours. I was like, I love Lord of the Rings, but I don't want to do this. I want to play the game because it's a video game. Yeah. And it's just difference of opinion. I mean, hey, they do great stuff. They make fantastic builds, unparalleled in that aspect, but I just got bored. So I went back on their server the next day, and I was like, yep, nope, that's Rivendell. Oh, shit. Okay, that's Moria. And I started piecing this stuff together. We're a server that is advertising their builds on our server, and they're like, no, we don't put these out for public use. How did you get these? And I was like, I was on Planet Minecraft, and I tried to go to the link, and the link was a 404. So now it looked like I stole all these builds, and I was like, oh god. So I literally went around with a guy named Dino Daring 123, I don't know. And so went around and deleted all these builds, and everyone on our server was like, well, if you're deleting my home, I'm leaving. Because we had these for months at this point, and these people they customized them, they made them their own, and I was like, guys, we these are stolen builds, we cannot have these. And so on one end, I pissed off the outside community, and on the other hand, I pissed off our inside community, and so that boiled over into us. We're now deep into Primacraft days. Like TA Craft was really the wild, wild west. Primacraft was where we had our own story, and I know I'm probably making this more tangential than it needs to be, but we had a Middle Earth. Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh, I'm skipping a whole part of this. When we did Primacraft, we had our own lore. Like we used the Lord of the Rings builds, but we had our own lore. Like Minas Tirith was the Imperial City. Rivendell was the Forgotten Valley. And we had like when you joined the server, you were given 7 books, and these are the 7 ages of Primus Humum, which again is terrible Latin for first ground. We had the story of Alimentum and Palacius and Spiro, and like these were different gods, and we talked about how the server was developed from this lore. And so either you followed the man in black or you followed the man in white, and we had the Eterno armor. And so the Eterno armor was this stupidly violent, overpowered gear. There was the helmet, chestplate, leggings, boots, sword, and bow, because that's the only weapons there were in Minecraft at the time. And like if you had one of these, you were stupidly overpowered. But if you had all of this armor, you cannot be defeated. Like everyone on the server could be facing you, and you would just destroy everyone. So this armor was what kind of kept everything going, right? Because it would switch hands without anyone knowing. This is during a time when we had local chat on, so like if you could hear someone talking, it's because like you were really close to them. So like people would go and hunt people down in the wilderness and fight over this armor.
So
What?
so you also didn't have keep inventory on.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, this was no, we did
Yeah,
not.
that sounds terrifying.
It was yeah, because you didn't know if like there was 40 people online. That was our daily average, which was nice. But like you could use, I think it was like slash GC for global chat or something like that, and then you could do like GCL for global chat lock. And so most people were talking on global chat, and then we got rid of local chat because it really only had a niche purpose. Like like most people liked being able to talk to each other, and if you wanted to talk to someone privately, then you could just do MCMMO groups. But that that was a good time, but just people were like, why are you using Lord of the Rings builds for your own lore? Why don't you guys just become Lord of the Rings because you're the only Lord of the Rings server? Again, this was with similar people who had the mindset that Minecraft Middle Earth was rather boring. And this is, for anyone that's listening, is like, why are you trashing Minecraft Middle Earth? This is old Minecraft Middle Earth, like old, 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 old. This is when they terraformed from a normal Minecraft world. Like their progress was insanely slow because instead of using World Painter and other tools to go ahead and start, making their world from scratch, they were literally like they would have to convert a desert biome into the Misty Mountains and then go 200 feet and convert a tundra biome into the Misty Mountains. And it was terribly slow. And so they had a lot of builds in Ariador, but that was it, Eridor. Um, and so we were like literally the only other people you could fight over, play in, destroy, all like kind of cool stuff. But then it came down to, for those that don't remember or weren't live or didn't play, Minecraft or Mojang kind of slammed the hammer down with their EULA changes that said no service could be pay to win. And so that kind of changed everything for us because all of our ranks were pay to win. All of them, every single one. I would try to make them chock full of everything you could do at the time, from mob disguises to spawning to kits to everything, because I've always had the mindset if you're donating to us, I want you to be like, holy hell, look at all the stuff I got, rather than, damn it, I paid this much for just this.
It's
Like
really
I did
weird
not want.
because like the server now is like so anti pay to win. It's
Oh, it's because of this. It's
lessons learned, I guess.
Yes, yeah, and it's also just I'm fortunate enough that we don't. I personally don't need the money. Any money that we get goes to back to the server. But definitely during this time, I was a college kid and I needed something. So the money definitely went to me at the time, and it wasn't a lot. We never broke more than 500 total over the course of Primecraft. But anyways, that was the moment that we decided um, we're just gonna go Lord of the Rings. This is where we're diving in. We're gonna do the Rings of Power. We're gonna do roles, we had ranks, we had everything, and we're like, okay, so we're going to be abandoning this old stuff. We're going to go find public to use Minecraft builds such as Lord of the Rings, such as Lord of the Rings, such as Divisi, Epic Quest, Trixie Blocks, Fishy. These are all, you can go look at them on Planet Minecraft. You can download these builds right now for anyone that wants to do their own Lord of the Rings server. You can go get these and download them right now. It takes a while to go ahead and world edit them in, but it works. And then we officially started the Lord of the Rings server on, I think it was beta 6, whenever the very first version of Middle Earth came out.
The
And I mean
mod.
Middle Earth. Well, no, because the mod started off with random biome generation. And so, for example, it had
Oh yeah,
Gondor
yeah,
next
yeah,
to
yeah.
Rohan, next to Lothlorien, which, well, it's kind of how it is now. But I mean, it was more like normal Minecraft biomes. But then they actually switched to the map, and I was like, okay, this works. Because a lot of people don't realize that before that, up until version 6, there was client desync. And so, for example, mainly if you and I were online at the same time, if we were not looking at each other, we could move, and then if I looked back at you, you'd be at the correct block. But if I watched you and you would move around, your guy would just stand still. Because on my screen, it would not render you moving until I looked to my right and then looked back, and then you would move. It was really
Oh.
weird. Yeah, so you could not move on the same server while looking at each other. And we're like, well, this is really dumb. So, and I'm assuming because Mevins was learning, right? Version 5, version 6, right? So it was all learning
Yeah,
game at
we're
that
on we're
time.
on like 30. We're somewhere in the 30s now, right?
Yeah, 36.
Yeah.
So
So that must have been a long time ago.
Oh, that was a very long time ago. At the time, we were the only Lord of the Rings mod server there was. I looked on their wiki to find out when they actually started, and we beat them by like 6 months or something. Um, but I mean that I highly doubt they're gonna be like, yeah, you guys were the first 8 years after the fact or whatever. I don't really care. I mean, we've been here for a long time. We built our community, and as you said, we've made it to version 36. And Primacraft eventually built itself up to where we had ranks, we had renown. Anyone that goes on the server now,
And most importantly, you had me.
yeah, yeah. Well, you joined during Primacraft, right?
I joined. Yeah, I joined.
Right at the end, maybe.
I. I joined about like 2 years ago or so. I think 2 or 3
Yes.
years.
Yeah, so that's when we were going from Primacraft to Prima, which really wasn't a big brand change. It was just me
I
trying
yeah
to
I
get.
I became staff like right when we switched to War of the Ring.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was just because that needed to end. Just because we were Primacraft for so long, and we started off with the bad reputation from Minecraft Middle Earth, which is cool now. They don't care. They have their own success and they're doing fantastically. But we just needed to be something new. Like for anyone that joins the server now, you used to have to donate for ranks. So Bondsman was $5, Commoner was 10, Squire was 25, so on and so forth. Or it could be playtime. And the absolute issue with playtime was so you could like if the server staff at one point when Lars joined had because we had so many freaking people, 24 members of staff. It was insane.
Yeah, that
This is
sounds like a
because
lot.
because we had if you wanted a title, staff had to manually give you a title. If you wanted to be promoted, you manually had to be promoted. And
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so we had rank upgrading based on playtime. But if we only had American staff, everyone who was European, Russian, or well, overbroad of Asian, um, like they never saw you, so you'd never rank up. And so then we needed staff from other parts of the world to go ahead and a watch people so you could be like, yeah, no, that dude plays all the time, and then b help those people out when no one's online because it was just you couldn't do anything unless you're online when you're supposed to be asleep. So staff exploded at that point. We got a lot of our builds during the time at that point. We had a lot of staff issues at that point. We had a staff member who I'm not going to give him credit or name. He destroyed the entire world. This was when I was working 8 to 12 hour days, and I got home from work, and I was like, "Hey, I'm really tired. I'm going to bed. Oh, dang it, my phone's dead. Oh well, nothing bad is going to happen." Then I woke up to the entire server being exploded, and I was like, "Oh, well, shit." Learned about backups that day. Learned how to properly maintain them. And so Primacraft ended, not in any sort of bad way, but it just we no longer were the same server that we started off with. We had the coding for renown, we had the coding for ranks, we had the coding for roles, and so a lot of this was automatic, and you could have your own gaming experience. And so that all evolved from manual, manual having to be on or like manual everything, having to be online all the time, having to be online when other people are online, and then having to pay money to do well on the server, to now, which is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So that's
Now really the only time when staff like have to be on is when things break.
yep, that's what we want.
We
I
don't
want
have to be on to work. We have to be on when it doesn't work.
exactly. Exactly. Unless you guys are working on variables, then it's then it's pain. For the people that ever think that I am the person that made this, there's a lot of staff members who had to sit down there and I had to explain to them, okay, so we need to go grab the ID and name for every single item in the server.
Yeah,
And then people
I
would
remember back when we used Monday on the staff team when I just sat down and did rolls for like hours.
yeah,
That was rough.
I know. It's because I wanted us to be able to go ahead and this was the main issue with season 1 for War of the Ring. Like like what I realized is that when we started season 1, there were still a lot of things we had to work on, and so staff either had to join and keep themselves alive during the war, right, or help me with staff stuff. So a lot of staff members were like, well, I kind of want to stay alive, man. I don't want to be doing this, and so for season 2, that was really when we started having what I call the dev cycles. And the dev cycles are like, hey, there's going to be the war is not going on. Use this time to build. Use this time to help us on staff. Use this time to go play other stuff and then come back, which is not great if you're trying to own a server. But I could not put the staff in that position where it's like, okay, either die in the overarching game or help me make the game, which doesn't make logical sense.
I honestly don't think I would still be here if it was like that, but like the staff team is a pretty low pressure, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not completely no pressure. I mean, you do have to help a bit, but like people don't just yell at you to do stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, with the building variables last week, and I was like, when no one was helping on staff, I was like, I will go find staff members. And so luckily we've had a lot of great people over the years, and like right now is a pretty chaotic and pretty busy time for everyone. But one of the biggest additions for season 3 is definitely buildings. And so for those that aren't familiar, for season 3, when you go ahead and make with your own blocks, with your own time, you go ahead and make a treasury, for example, you'll be able to go ahead and spend loyalty and go ahead and make that into a building, so that when you walk in there, you'll be able to go ahead and set up stuff to where people can warp there, people can buy stuff there, and each building kind of serves its own purpose. And so this is how you're going to be able to actually make some immersion for your seat. So if you go ahead and make a weaponsmith, people are going to be able to walk into your weaponsmith. They'll see your permanent trader there. They'll be able to trade stuff for loyalty. And so the bigger and better your seat is, and this is for people that don't know what seats are, these are the cities, the fortresses, the towns, the villages on the server. You'll be able to go ahead and we'll be able to see which cities are the best cities, right? Who's got the best deals, who's made a gem shop to where you can go buy gems, who's made a ring shop so you can go ahead and get rings of power, who's made the shield shops that, hey, maybe we shouldn't invade this place because they're the only shield shop this side of the Anduin. So like that addition by far was the biggest addition, just because it's so intensive of, okay, so what is a Gondor armorer versus a Mordor armorer versus a Isengard armorer versus that times every single building. And so that has taken staff a very long time, because it is a mountain. That was a mountain of work, but it's working. It's just now we got to finish up the final stuff, because now, with season 3's release actually on the horizon for once.
Yeah, we have an actual date now.
I know. Hopefully. Hopefully. It's still the 2 last things now. I got the the army plugin working. So now you'll be able to summon guys in that you made at your seat. You transfer to your army, and you'll be able to spawn them in around you. And actually, you'll be able to make them target people around you. So mainly, if you and I are on opposite factions, I can go ahead as a Gondor person. When I want to spawn in 10 Gondor swordsmen, I can just make them summon around me, and they'll fight anyone around me, or I can go ahead and make them target someone that's close to me. And so they can target you or anyone else that I want them to target. And then, let's say I spawn them in incorrectly, I can reclaim them. And so now when I reclaim them, it'll actually know which guys I spawned in, it'll kill them, and then add them back into my total, so that way you have full control over your armies. And this is vastly superior to what it was last season, if you remember.
Yeah, and now troop recruitment is different as well, so factions whose equipment uses rare metals aren't at a disadvantage.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Few players had complaints, like for dwarves, for every single dwarven unit you wanted to make, you had to use gammon, and they were like, you can't craft gammon. So your entire troop structure relied on trading or finding this stuff, which was not very possible. So
yeah, and
a lot of lessons learned.
For a lot of the factions of men, like their armor is just made from iron, so it's so easy to just stockpile so much of their armor and just recruit troops. But now it'll be more balanced, which I'm excited for. Yep,
and now seats won't be able to have just 20,000 troops. So for example, Minas Tirith right now, it has a citizen count of 169. That's because I have all these different buildings that go ahead and total this up, and now I can have 169 troops. And so I can go ahead and make these and transfer them to armies. And so technically, you can have more than 169, but you can only have 169 stationed there. And so every single troop is buyable via loyalty or silver coins. And so this is why you have the treasury building, because the treasury building is where you go ahead and have a communal place for your seat to have ingots, bronze ingots, iron ingots, gold, silver coins, and mithril. And I know a lot of people might be listening to this that are trying to understand what are we adding for season 3. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? So one of the last big plugins, well, there's technically you have to make an update to races, which is on the down low. And then, well, I'm not going to explore into that option any further, but the tutorial plugin. That is something that maybe I don't know if it's going to make our release, but I think it needs to. So there's a possibility that we push back the release date again. That's why I've not said it. But we need every single user to be able to click a button like I or do /tutorial, and where they can see, okay, what is renown, what is ranks, what is the roll deck, what is shields, what is rings, all that kind of stuff. And I think I know how I'm going to do it. We've done it similarly with the race select command for those that have experienced that. So yeah, that's the last plugin. And then season 3. And then for the last note that I'll say kind of about the server, because I think I've gone overboard on my time, but
It's fine.
the prep server is done. So for those that think that we have like, oh man, they just keep pushing this. No, it's this team of like 12 to 14 people. Everyone is moving and doing stuff like nonstop. It seems.
A few days ago, me and another staff member just went in and set all the races spawns and like.
Yep. So that's good to go. Like I tested that. That works. So right out the gate, whenever we switch it over, we're not going to have to really worry about all that stuff. Like, crap. Server's going to be down for 6 hours because we have to go, set all this stuff up. It is really just going to be, we already have everyone's builds over there. And so anyone else that is listening to this and they're like, oh, did you transfer my build? I never put it in builds to transfer. No, we didn't. Your build is not being moved because we've only given everyone here about 3 months to do so. So we have all the builds. They're all protected besides smaller seats. So like no one can just walk into Minas Tirith and claim it. But if you have a seat that was just a tower and a house, I would go there rather quickly. Otherwise, someone's going to be able to take it. But with season 3, we have over 200 builds. Let me say that again. With 200 builds, it is going to be a madhouse. It's going to be a bloodbath. The War of the Ring is going to hold nothing back.
And it's going to be beautiful.
It's all going to crash in 10 minutes when everyone joins. That's going to be terrifying. But yeah, and so now we're here at War of the Ring Season 3. We'll save the whole Seasons 1, 2, and 3 for another time, but this is the work of years and people and the community who've told me this was a bad idea, that was not a smart move, or hey, we really like this. And it's just been an unrelenting. There's been multiple metaphors, but I think the best one is just a glacier slowly traveling down the mountain. Like I've tried to describe this to people as more of a pep talk or maybe a confidence boost, especially on the staff team. Just like nothing is going to stop this. We might be going slow, but we're also moving a massive amount of stuff. So 200 builds, 300 titles, 400 roles, over 70 races. Not to mention all the stuff that I can't mention, which is 50% or more.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
I know. People are going to be like, I know so many people are frustrated with the fact that Season 3 has taken forever, but you're going to join the server, and you don't even understand.
You're going to join the server and ask why we're not even in Middle-earth anymore.
Pretty much.
But what's funny is we are.
Exactly. So you're like, are you adding space? Are you adding spaceships? No, we're not adding spaceships, but
not yet, at least.
I'll leave it at this. I'll leave it at this. I don't think I'm alone by saying that I was disappointed with what they added in 36. That's where I'll end the conversation for War of the Ring.
Yes.
But yes. So, Manly, do you have any questions for me as the owner? Like, toughest lesson I've learned, or I'm not trying to.
Uh,
I just don't know. I feel like I've been talking for a while.
I mean, I was very when I first met you. I was very impressed by the patience or like restraint you showed because I've known a lot of like people in positions of power who will just absolutely abuse it. But like you were always extremely patient with everyone. Like even me when I wasn't in staff and like when I first joined one time I had the bug where every time I joined the server would crash and like
Oh yeah.
you never got mad at me. You just wanted to know the issue so you could fix it.
Well, yeah. I guess that's just always been my philosophy of like what I want at the end of the day is for people that join the server. Like you do not need any staff member. You do not need to meet any player. You like for season 3, you guys will be able to go through the entire game, never having met anyone. You'll be able to rank up in its entirety, upgrade your role in its entirety. Obviously, you won't be able to do like full blown sieges because that does require other people and other troops, right? But yeah, so like with that goal in mind, it made no sense to me to ever be like, okay, so you joined, and because of some server issue, you got kicked or crashed the server. That's not your fault. I mean, it might be annoying that that happens, but the only way, like, if I just start banning everyone that happens to, I'm never going to find the source of the issue. And after 10, 15 crashes, we found out what was causing it. Right? You were in a corrupt chunk, and we had to reload that chunk, and
Yeah.
yeah, it never helped
Because
being
for
frustrated with it.
example, I once met a server owner where like when I first joined the server, I lagged out and died and lost the entire starter kit, and they didn't have it set to where I could just get it back.
Hmm.
And so I literally said like, "Hey, the game lagged out and it wasn't my fault and I lost all the stuff. Like, can I re-get it?" And he was like, "No." Just like he he just I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like if that ever happened here, they would definitely get their stuff back.
Oh yeah.
And it wouldn't happen here in the first place because we have keep inventory, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. Oh yeah, no, there was a time when we didn't have keep inventory. That was voted for. That was oh man, that was yeah, during Primecraft days, that was a big split in the community.
That
It
was.
was yeah, we
You
a
had
lot
like
of
the
people left.
really competitive players who didn't
Hmm.
want it, but then you also just had the more a lot of the times roleplay based players who did want it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the final nail in the coffin for that was just looking at the possible threats from vanilla Minecraft to Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is 10 to 15 times harder than vanilla Minecraft. Just right out the gate. There's invasions, there's multiple enemies. I mean, you get one Olog high to spawn on you during a bad day as a new player, it's game over. There's no way you're winning that fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. We need to keep inventory because like majority of deaths were from falling lava and then a Lord of the Rings entity. Like PvP wasn't even in that list. And so and that caused massive issues with people who had roll gear. And so they had people who were roll hunters who were literally like, I'm just gonna go get everyone's roll gear. So they would kill people for their roll gear. And that was back when you couldn't redeem your roll gear easily. You had to wait 3 days. And so yeah, there's just people would just go around ruining each other's experiences because they're better at PvP. And like we're not gonna sacrifice majority of the server's happiness for a few people who just want to kill everyone. Like that's you like now you can do that already, but like it's not so detrimental to the player.
Yeah.
So
Now it's not game ending. It's just really annoying.
yeah, yeah. I mean it sucks when there's PvP, especially when people don't want it. But uh,
Oh, I mean, yeah, like if because we once had an issue with some players just repeatedly over and over killing new players. I'm not gonna name names, but like,
yeah,
but it was good. It was the one plus side of that is that if we had keep inventory off, those players would have literally lost everything.
oh yeah, quit the
But
game.
instead, they were just dying.
Yeah, yeah. It's been an interesting time learning what works and does not work. That was one of the big changes with our whole donation structure too. Like for those that haven't donated, when you donate to the server, um, like if you buy a Prima-Pack, which are definitely more expensive than other server donations on other servers, but you get that same Prima-Pack for everyone else that logs in the next 48 hours. And so when someone donates to the server, they donate to the entire server. And so that's always been one of our bonuses, and we think we might have a spin on it for season 3, but I mean, hey, maybe now's a good time to talk about a possibility we've been thinking about. And mainly this is gonna be brand new to you. So we're gonna get your fresh opinion. And please be candid about it. Don't you know, be conservative on the fact that, oh, maybe I shouldn't say it's a Slayer. I mean, that's never how relationships been, but um
I mean,
it's a
I've
dramatic
said
change.
stuff. I've said stuff to you that's gotten me banned.
Yes, yes you have.
I mean, it wasn't rude, but
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um wait, no, what was that over?
I made so many puns you banned me.
Oh yeah, see, I was about to say, I was like, you haven't done anything serious. I was like, no, if you had done something serious, you'd be banned still, right? But yeah, no, he got banned for puns. He was addicted to puns. He
Yeah,
needed
you're
pun rehab.
to everyone
I warned
listening.
you.
You're lucky that I'm holding back this time.
I know. I warned you too. I was like, Manly, if you say one more pun, I'm going to ban you. And you're like, no, you're not. And then you did one more, and I was like, okay.
I thought I was calling your bluff because that was before I realized that you weren't bluffing.
I say, I know. I always say like, you're banned, right, as a joke.
Yeah.
But if I say, if you do this, you will be banned, consider it like coding logic. if the if conditional comes out true, you are going to be banned. Yeah. Anyways, we don't need to talk about my arrogance.
So it's not the first time I was threatened, but it was the one time it happened.
It wasn't a threat; it was a promise. I was telling you.
It was an ultimatum.
That's the correct term. So, the new donation idea, and this was stemmed from a thought that I had yesterday. So if people immediately hate it, you have to let me know. So,
scream at us in the comments. We could.
Yes.
But if I see anything mean about me in there, I'm gonna cry. I'm just gonna start bawling right there. I'm probably gonna be like at Wendy's ordering something, and then I'm gonna see something, and I'm just gonna start crying into the drive-thru. the lady's gonna be very confused and concerned. All right, but go ahead.
So right now on the server, you can go ahead and get anything for yourself via Renown or Shields for like roles, but I'm talking about for donation stuff. For those that aren't experienced, Renown, you get that from various different ways. The total amount that you will get during your entire server lifetime will go to your rank. So that's how you go from, yokel to serf to peasant to serf to commoner and so on and so forth. But then that renown that you get, you can also go buy stuff, whether it's a title or gear or a Prima-Pack or a seat. Like the idea is whatever you go ahead and get out of the game, you can go ahead and spend it as well. The second route is you go ahead and buy things with actual hard currency, and you get a copy of that for everyone on the server. And so the only real stuff that we have are Prima-Packs and titles, but we're going to be expanding that to shields and magic spells and some other things. But the two ideas that we have, there's actually two, I forgot about the other one. So the first idea, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work, but we've had a lot of people who have used Armor's Workshop to create a lot of fantastic things. And so with Armor's Workshop being a cosmetic mod, we can make it where people go ahead and buy stuff that's created on the server for like 50 cents to $1. Like none of this stuff is going to be anything over $2. I think I've seen one thing that I think people would actually be like, okay, that's like as soon as they look at it, that's the only thing they're going to buy. So the idea there is like if someone goes ahead and creates something on the server, we can go ahead and put that on the server store, and then anytime someone buys that, they unlock it in game. It does not give them a pay to win advantage, and that person gets that cosmetic thing, and then I'm trying to figure out how do we pay back the owner of the Armor's Workshop thing that they create there, right? Because if we have one person who makes 5 armors, for example, they can make one that's on the store. To me, like it's not fair that we profit off them, because that's, for lack of a better term, right? They made the stuff. How do we go ahead and pay them back? Can I legally give them some of the money? Can 50% of it goes to the server and 50% of it goes towards them? Is that going to be too much to even try to track? If there's, we add 50 items, okay, so that was bought once, that was bought 3 times, that was bought 4 times, so we owe that person 10 cents, we owe that person 30 cents, so on and so forth. That could get complicated. Or do we go ahead and give them some sort of payback in the form of renown? And so that every time that someone pays for something on the server, you get, if it's like a dollar donation, you go ahead and you get 100 renown, right? Because someone paid for it, and then I don't know the legality of that. So this whole idea just might be dropped because we don't know the legality. So, and then someone also brought the point, is like, well, why don't you, when someone makes something on the server, you pay them for it, which again, I don't know if I can do. Like, Manly, if you create a skin that we're going to throw up on the server, I give you $5. I pay it. I pay you for
hypothetical universe where I'm good at building, yes.
Right. And then we put it on the server, and then you don't get any sort of payback at all. So, like, this, I don't know exactly what to do. I don't know my legal options, just because I don't want to put anyone in legal jeopardy. But, I mean, I'm also not going to just sit here and reap the benefits off other people's hard work. Like, that's never really stood well with me. So, then the second idea for donations, which is just, it's a different thing entirely to the first thing, would be, so again, like we're talking about, you kind of get renown to buy a primer pack for yourself and yourself only, because that's, you earned it, right? You earned it by playing the game. You get the full benefits. No one else does. The other route is by paying via donation. And so if you pay for money, we can't have it be pay to win, so everyone has to get a copy. But that does not help us with donations, and the fact that anyone that goes, hey, I might donate for a mithril pack, if someone else buys one, they don't want it anymore. They just got their mithril back. Which, if this was an actual business, not smart. It's not how you make money. So something that I just had the idea of yesterday would be, if there was a, I don't know the name, but just call it like diamonds for right now. So if a primer pack is worth, or a mithril primer pack is worth $20 for everyone, and then it is worth 4,000 renown for the single player, it would be worth like 200 diamonds. And 200 diamonds is essentially when like, let's say, Manly, I buy a mithril primer pack, and since I would be buying it for myself, okay,
yeah,
I get the primer pack, no one else gets it. Right out the gate, that's pay to win, right? That just the definition of how things work. Pay to win. You pay for something, gives you an advantage that other players don't get. Mm-hmm. But if that thing is worth 200 diamonds, everyone else who logs in for the next 48 hours, instead of getting that mithril primer pack, they get, quote-unquote, 200 diamonds. Now, 200 diamonds is essentially a third currency, so that when people go to the store, they can go ahead and buy whatever the hell they want for the same amount of money that someone got a mithril primer pack. So the idea is if I buy a primer pack, Manly, you log in, you do not get the primer pack, but you get 200 diamonds. And so now you can go ahead and unlock anything from the store that's worth 200 diamonds. So you get whatever you want from the store, regardless of what someone else gets. Is that pay to win? I think it is, right? Because that's not fair. Some people might not get the same amount of, I guess, objective items, the same amount or the same tier or the same, I guess, just advantages. But then this would allow people to go ahead and get specifically what they want. Like, if someone wants a primer pack, someone else that, I guess, it gets the bonus from them donating, this person go ahead and unlock a shield pack because they really want rolls, right? Or they want to learn all of, like, the magic spells, so they can go buy a magic spells pack. Or they can go ahead and unlock gear pieces, or they can go ahead and unlock titles. And so this is a spin that I just thought about yesterday, so I don't know if it even works, but what are your thoughts? Or do you have any questions?
I think that sounds good. I mean,
that's where I'm at. I think it sounds good. But continue, sorry.
I mean, I'm always of the opinion that we'll never really know if we never at least implement it as a trial. But I think theoretically that does sound good.
Yeah.
But well, I think that's all the time we have, though, because we went on for a lot longer than we were planning to.
Me talking for a while? No way.
Get used to this, people.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, guys, anyone that was listening, um, thank you for listening to at least me ramble. I know, Manly, you definitely want to close this out, but for anyone that joined this server 5 years ago or a year ago, or this is your first time ever experiencing it, welcome to War of the Ring, and I hope you enjoy your time. And if you have any ideas, comments, questions, or concerns, please raise them. And yeah, the biggest thing is respect. Please treat people here like they're people. Obviously, tempers can go high, especially when we were literally fighting for an entire faction. Um, but yeah, just remember that we are all people here, and we all try to make this place a really great place. And thank you, Manly, for putting this on. I couldn't think of anyone better to do this.
Aww.
But yeah,
And thank you all for tuning in to the first episode of StaffCast, and we hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye!